Hello my fellow adopters, my name is Nairi and my channel is all about adoption family life. So if you think that's useful to you, please hit the pink subscribe button down below. I'm also an adopter myself. I have adopted 2 boys, I have 5 birth children, and I foster children with complex needs. So I can cover lots of things in my channel about the process of adoption, the traumas, behaviours and everything relating to adoption family life. But today we're going to be talking about if you're considering having a baby into your home by way of adoption. And I feel there are 2 main aspects of this: the physical side of preparation and the emotional side of preparation, and both are equally important. And what I will also say from the outset is as much information as you can get from the foster carer or the birth family is really absolutely crucial to this being a success. So first of all, the physical aspect. I think sleep is one of the key things that both you and your baby are going to need. So first of all, consider number 1, how are you going to sleep them? Are you going to co-sleep? In which case you need to follow the Lullaby Trust information on safe co-sleeping. Are you going to have a cot where the side goes down alongside your bed so you can easily reach the baby? Are you going to have them in your room, or are you going to have them in a separate room? The choice, of course, is entirely yours. But what I would say to bear in mind is that often babies are restless anyway, and adoptive babies, although they might start quiet, might actually be very restless in the night. I can attest to this with one baby that had me awake constantly throughout the night. So, number 1 is sleep. Number 2 is find out from the foster carer or the birth family or the social worker what the normal pattern of feeds is and how much the baby normally drinks in those feeds and what bottles are being used for the baby as well. Because if the baby is settled at night, that's great, but if they're not having enough to drink milk wise, or you don't know what the weaning pattern has been, then you're really going to run into problems quite quickly. So that's number 2, is how much are they drinking, eating, and how often throughout the day, and what are they using. Number 3 are there any things that definitely cause the baby distress? So for example, do they have triggers? Are there certain people that they don't like the look of? Perhaps, for example, do they not like men with beards? Are there certain materials they don't like against them? Certain noises that they don't really like? Find out, if you can, what those triggers might be for this baby so that you can avoid that happening. And again, practically, number 4, clothing. So you might know that this baby is 6 months old and on the small side. So off you trot to your local store and you come back with a huge array of wonderful clothing for your baby, and the baby comes and the clothing's way too big or the clothing's way too small, and then you've got to fuss around and go back out and buy things again. And so you just want to be ready for when this baby comes. It's just simple practical things, but you want to be ready. So try to find out from someone whether the baby is, what sort of centile, for example, the baby's on. So if the baby's on the 4th centile and it's 6 months old, it's going to be a lot smaller. If it's on the 95th centile, it's going to be a lot bigger than its actual age. So there's just 4 physical aspects that you can take into consideration. So the other side, as I mentioned, is the emotional aspect of this. So every adopted baby comes in with trauma, even if they don't show it. So it might well be that when the baby first comes in, you think it's very quiet, it's very settled, everything seems great. But I can assure you that that baby will be experiencing trauma, whether it's from leaving a birth mother or birth parent or leaving a foster carer. And a lot of the quiet, less distressed behaviour is actually a shutdown moment when they are learning to cope with the trauma and to process the trauma. So in the initial days, number 1, don't have too many visitors, too many friends. Don't pass the baby around too much. Keep the baby close to you. Keeping close is the key aspect of attachment, and it's the key aspect of success for your growing, developing relationship with the baby. So you need to use lots of eye contact, lots of cuddles, voice, and keep the baby close. The second aspect, emotional aspect to this, is the fact that over time, that honeymoon period will probably come to an end and you will start to have quite a restless period of time. And this is actually the baby learning to reattach with you. And in some ways it's a good sign. If you think about the fact that a baby has left everything and that they're perfectly fine, that's actually not really normal. So a bit of distress is probably normal. And after that honeymoon period, this is what's going to happen. And this is when it's going to get trying and testing, and the sleep and everything is going to go out the window. And this is when you're going to need a really good network of people around you to support you. Bearing in mind as well that everybody who has a baby has 9 months to prepare, and undoubtedly you've had some time to think about it and prepare for adoption. When that baby comes, anybody who's given birth to a baby will say that it feels like a huge responsibility. All of a sudden there's a baby there, and of course this is going to be similar for you. It's going to be emotional, it's going to be tiring, and you may have some doubts and some misgivings about whether you've done the right thing or not. And that's not completely unlike what it would be like if you gave birth to a baby, actually. We don't all get a sudden rush of feeling of wonder and awe and love. Some of us have a feeling of panic when we've suddenly got to feed this baby and we don't know how to do it. So having some misgivings and wondering if you've done the right thing, this type of thing, this is all normal. So please don't panic if you already have a baby and you're feeling a little bit like this. So as I said before, just keep going with the bonding strategy and the attachment strategy by keeping that baby as close to you as you possibly can. So guys, I hope that helps you. I will be producing lots more videos, and I'm sure that some of them will cover babies, but they will cover lots of other things too. So again, if you you find the channel useful, then please subscribe on the button below, and I look forward to seeing you next time. Goodbye now.